What is going on, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf. Today's show is going to be packed. We're going to talk about why all of the rich elite are getting residency in New Zealand, including the sixth richest man. I bet all of them, but again, we'll talk about that here in just a minute. We'll be right back right after this. Today's show is brought to you by NordVPN. Make sure to go check them out at marfooglenews.com/VPN. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/VPN and get a savings with the code Marfoogle. All right. Before we get started, my name is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and just want to make sure that we get the fact out there that, of course, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, we have a ton to cover, and just to get this through to anybody who is new, everything that we're going to show you here today, whether it be a picture, a tweet, a document, or a video, or even an article, we are going to bibliograph. In fact, we have on our website every single link, so you can get access to everywhere your stories are coming from. That way you know exactly where these stories are. Again, all you have to do is go to marfooglenews.com. It's very easy to navigate. Just go to today's thumbnail. The rich are all going to New Zealand. And then once you click on that, you will see that it will bring you to this page. This has every single article, every single link, every single tweet on there. And then, of course, down below is all of the too hot for TV. Anything that is too to one direction or too sensitive to the point where people are getting deleted, this is where they go. If you want to support us, we are truly independent. We do all of this on our own without a multi-billion-dollar corporation and without a multi-channel network. You can go over to the right side of the page and support us either through one of our affiliates or through PayPal or Amazon link right there. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother. What's going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So we have a lot to cover. First off, we're going to talk about a paranormal story here, but it's actually coming from a mayor. This is, of course, the Colombian mayor. It says, paranormal activity. Colombian mayor shares video of a ghost attack in his office. Now, it says some places are very dangerous at night, but it seems it's often, sometimes even the safest and dullest place, like a government office, can be afflicted by something beyond our comprehension. A Colombian mayor has claimed that a ghost attacked one of his security guards, sharing a video of the incident on his social media, baffling thousands. According to the mayor, the town of Armenia, Jose Manuel Rios Morales, says the assault occurred in his office during the nighttime. It says, I want to share this video with you today, emphasizing that as mayor, I have the conviction that faith is unsurmountable power. Morales captioned the Facebook video. Now, again, this video we have linked on our website along with this article. One of the main videos that's going around is actually not the video itself. It's him talking about it in Spanish. So we have linked that. Of course, I would love to get your opinion on that after you go to our website and look at that. Give us your opinion on what you think it is. Again, I think that everybody has had a paranormal experience. One of these days, we're going to have a call in on this. Again, I think that a lot of people you don't believe until you've had one. In fact, a lot of people that I've met used to be skeptics. Once you have kind of a weird situation or a weird kind of story happen to you, then you just don't believe it. Or you believe it to the point, where it's scary as hell just being outside alone. I remember when I was a kid, I would literally run the last 15 feet. If I was alone, it was like the last 15 feet, it was like the monsters only could get you then. So I would bolt the last 15 feet towards my door at night, thinking that, you got to get inside and close the door real quick. If you have a similar story, leave it down in the comments below. And then, of course, we have LAX Airport Terminal 5 evacuated after a boom threat was reported. We've seen a lot of this kind of uptick of all of these threats. What I wonder is how many of them are real and how many of them are pranks. It says that LAX airport was evacuated after a suspicious vehicle prompted a security concern. Travelers said that they were evacuated from Terminal 5 early on Friday morning. Both levels of the terminal were evacuated, and police personnel and vehicles were at the scene. The airport itself confirmed that traffic is being diverted due to police activity. It is asking travelers to allow extra time when coming into the airport. Police officers are at the scene giving directions. Reports are circulating that there was a boom threat in the area. However, this has not yet been confirmed. So, Dex,
what's interesting, Adam, we also had, and we don't have it here, but I heard about another one in Fort Wayne International Airport. So I'll try to find a link to that and put it on the website for everybody. But that also happened today around the afternoon, and it did get cleared, and then they reopened. But that's interesting that we're seeing multiple of these at our airports.
So here's my honest opinion about boom threats and the next big T event. First of all, the iCountry, the one that we took out Soleimani from, they were supposedly, and this was according to T-Man while he was still president, he said that they took out Soleimani based on direct information that he was planning something that would make 2001 of September look like chicken feed. They said that they were planning one of the biggest America-centric attacks that has ever existed, and that's why they took out Soleimani. That day, when they took out Soleimani by a strike, they actually meant to take him and his right-hand man out. What happened is they did get Soleimani, but they confirmed that they missed his second right hand in command. So his right hand in command, and I have not seen a single update saying that they have done a second attack and taken him out as well. As far as I know, he is still alive and he is still out there, and it's not like because Soleimani passed away that they didn't continue this plan. So if what T-Man was saying, if what he was saying was true, then there's still this huge attack that's being planned. So one thing I think when I see this is like, this is small scale. We're talking about something that would involve the entire country or involve, hundreds, if not dozens of places, or dozens, if not hundreds of places being involved. So that is still out there, not to scare people, but that is what was said. And they did not achieve their goal of taking both of them out. They only took out Soleimani. I'm sure this guy is going to take on Mr. Soleimani's word. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm sure that they're using all of their resources to actually find out what's going on. Who knows? It all could be, some sort of fake story in the first place. That's why I take everything with a grain of salt. Anyways, as far as, again, that is an ultimate setup for something to happen. And then, of course, that be used for other gains. And then, of course, gold mine Asteroid headed for our solar system full of metals worth quadrillions. We've never really seen quadrillions being used, but that's apparently how much money is on this thing. It says an asteroid that is thought to be packed full of precious metals, which could be worth more than 10,000 quadrillion, is on its way to our solar system. The Psyche 16 asteroid is a 124-mile-wide space rock that orbits the sun in the asteroid belt, a donut-shaped region of space located between Mars and Jupiter, containing well over 1 million rocks, or at least this is what they supposedly say. NASA is currently organizing a mission to study the gold mine asteroid in 2026 in an effort to figure out its origins. Some scientists have speculated that it was once the core of an early planet. How do they find this stuff out? I don't know. I don't know the science behind that, and again, I could see why a lot of people doubt what the heck is going on. Klaus Sparrow, thank you so much for subscribing there. Forrest, thank you for subscribing. Jahan Saseda, John Doe. It's a really interesting show about remote viewing in the Spear of Destiny that only lasted one season. John Doe, I've never seen it. And then, of course, Ilea, thank you for being one of the last ones out yesterday, saying we're living in the TV show Sliders with Jerry O'Connell. Thank you, and thank you. Already 2,400 here. Thank you guys for popping in. Thank you, Foogle fam. And then over on D Live, we have a lot of really, really great people as well. In fact, let me just pop in and say hi. Let's see here. I loved sliders. I'm already seeing a lot of comments. By the way, the last shoutro that we did, I asked everybody their favorite show from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and there were so many I forgot about. Why did the ghost get arrested? I don't know, Yabba Dabba. Why did the ghost get arrested? Let's see here. Barefoot Lass, Maui Racing Realtor, is here over on DLive. We've got Linda Sloat, Lady Zuli, let's see here. Sita, Christ is the Answer, Sheila Amos, Eric Norman, Shy the Coffee, and Tammy Shirk. Thank you so much, everybody that has popped in. All right, and then over to why does Jeff Bezos want NASA's moon lander contract so badly? Now, it says Jeff Bezos speaks near part of an F1 engine from a Saturn V rocket on display in the Apollo exhibit of the Museum of Flight in Seattle, Washington. Again, I actually, I believe that I drove by this when he was in there. I have had some weird luck running into this guy. I think that I ran into him just a couple weeks ago, which I posted video of. People said that it wasn't him. My wife said it wasn't him in the video. I will probably take that video and show you guys. I think it was because of how he acted and how he did. And people were like, oh, no, he has security. It's famously known that he doesn't have security most of the places he goes. But I don't know if that's changed since he was kind of put out there as the world's richest man or whatever when him and Elon were going back and forth as the richest. Again, really... but I think I drove by and there was all these security vehicles, police vehicles and things like that. And then I saw a bunch of Amazon vehicles there. So I wonder if I was there at the same time. And Andre Christ, thank you so much for subscribing. And Lisa Marie S says web-only content today is awesome. Yes, that is awesome. I'm glad you looked at it. A lot of the people don't realize that we have kind of everything all in one place there. All the legwork has been done. Dex puts all of it over there, and so you can access it. Spartan O negative, totally sliders. Yes, that was such an awesome show. Discount Auto Repairs, RT Auburn, Maine. Thanks for subscribing. And then in spring 2020, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin began an almost year-long competition against Elon Musk's SpaceX over NASA contract to build a human landing vehicle on the moon. It says the race ended in April with the agency selecting SpaceX as the sole contractor under its human landing systems. Again, human landing systems. That sounds so flippin' weird. It says refusing to take no for an answer, Bezos has been pushing back against NASA's decision in every direction possible for the past 3 months. Last week, the world's richest man offered to waive up to $2 billion in future payments from NASA under existing Blue Origin contracts if the agency would award a separate lunar lander contract to his company. Dex, it sounds like he's desperate.
For sure. I mean, he's basically throwing a fit to get to the moon. Like he's willing to give up $2 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, any one of us would. I mean, even any one of us, for us to, if we could just get $1 billion. Heck, $1 million. And this guy's willing to lose $2 billion. That's 1,000 million times 2, just so he can say, I made a moon vehicle. I bet this is like for, what's crazy? This is probably for bragging rights for the many women that he dates. He's literally a bachelor, is he not? Isn't he like all over the town or something? I don't think
He had that big divorce, so yeah, I imagine he's running around free now. But he lost to SpaceX numerous times, even to Space. What was it? Space Force selected SpaceX over him. He lost to what's his name? Virgin.
Wow.
Oh, you remember him? Why can't I think of his name? The guy who runs Virgin Galactic.
Branson.
He went into space before him. Branson. Thank you. Yeah, he lost to Branson, so he's obviously grasping to get something, right?
He's like the kid that nobody would pick at dodgeball, and he's like, I'll give all of you my lunch for a week. Just pick me first. The guy sounds like a sore loser. He's literally doing and not just that he dropped money and he's trying to be, business smart. He also filed a complaint along with another SpaceX competitor, Dynetics, with the U.S. Government Accountability Office, accusing NASA of violating its procurement strategy by selecting only one HLS contractor. The congressional watchdog denied Blue Origin's protests on Friday, ruling that NASA, of course, had a fair competition. Yeah, okay. This is just hilarious.
I'll pay you. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna pound on the pavement and scream like a little baby. Why can't I go to space?
Well, they said the cost was one of the main factors. It says SpaceX bid was $2.9 billion, while Blue Origin's was more than double at $5.99 billion. Of course they're gonna pick the one that's half price. That's like half price. And then also the thing is, if Elon Musk is really doing what he says he's doing, look at how he cut costs in so many areas. He's proven that he could, at least, as far as people know, he's proven that he could take one thing that they were already doing for, $1 million, and then he reduced it to like $70,000. It's like he's actually proved his worth. Blue Origin has not had that much success. So I don't know why they would...
Specifically, what was it? The tickets on the Suez rocket out of Russia was very expensive. And now, Elon came in and he's taking our astronauts to the space station for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, we were paying Russia to take our guys to space, supposedly. It's like, now we have an American taking them up. Absolutely nuts. All right, well, we're talking about space and related. I hope that everybody has listened on previous shows. We have shown you exactly why we think everyone should be protecting themselves against an EMP. We have further information that I believe will change, probably the last few that haven't. Again, EMP is an electromagnetic pulse that they say, if happens, 90% of us just here in the United States would perish. And that is because of lack of good running water and everything else. Besides that, everything will go to chaos. If you want to protect your devices or protect your car so you're not stuck out somewhere when it happens, again, you can go over and get an EMP shield for it. It actually grounds the signal before it fries your device, whether that be your house, whether it be your generator, whether it be your car, your motorcycle, your RV, or even your ham radio. Again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Not only will you be supporting the show with commission, on your end, they give you a giant $50 discount on top of whatever sale they're doing currently. So again, any sale that they do, you get to stack our grandfathered in $50 off. That's something that, again, very few have. Again, that also protects against the natural kind, which is solar flares. Again, that is marfooglenews.com/EMP. Thank you for helping us expand, and thank you for protecting yourself. Dex, want to pretend to live on Mars for a whole year? Apply now. Are you going to go over and apply for this? And what do you think about this?
Well, this is like the ultimate summer camp, or I guess it's more like a year-long camp, right? You're going to go, these folks, NASA is taking them and paying them, people to actually live in an experiment, trying to do what they would do on Mars. Kind of crazy.
I have a feeling that they're going to try to isolate them and see if they go crazy or something. It says, want to find your inner Matt Damon and spend a year pretending you are isolated on Mars? NASA has a job for you. To prepare for eventually sending astronauts to Mars, NASA began taking applications Friday for 4 people to live in a year in Mars Dune Alpha. That's a 17,000 square foot Martian habitat / film stage where they'll shoot the future Mars trips. Oh, sorry, I added that last part. Created by a 3D printer and inside a building at Johnson Space Center in Houston. I do wonder, though, this is an ad basically calling out, and somebody put this on front page and said, hey, look at NASA's asking people to pretend they're on Mars. What if they were trying to do this quietly and then the news grabbed it, and really this is going to be the future, like Wag the Dog scene where, they have them on ropes and they sign NDAs and they're the first men on Mars or whatever, and they jump around like the moon video, right? What do you think, Dex? Do you think that they meant for this to get mainstream coverage?
Yeah, it certainly could be the precursor to the filming of an event, right? It's really I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It would be an interesting thing. Like personally, I think it'd be kind of neat to do, because it's like I went to space camp as a kid and I thought it was really cool over at Huntsville, Alabama. And that kind of whole thing, like seeing all the stuff that they had behind the scenes and whatnot, that was kind of cool. So I think it would be a fun experience. I don't know about a year long, but then also I don't know, like you said, is this basically the casting call for the actors to perform what we're going to see a few years from now?
I don't know. As far as, I just thought it was kind of funny. Everybody points out the FEMA exercises and the caller for actors, as they say, the people that they're supposed to triage and make it look like a real disaster and things like that. So I just wonder if they were kind of pissed off that they put this out there, or is it a real study for this? Will this be quoted in the future?
Yeah, they're going to grow vegetables. They're going to like put them in different exercises and things that are equivalent to what they're doing, right? Put them in zero gravity. I don't know how they're doing that, if they're putting them in water tanks or if they're flying them up in a plane, but it sounds like they're trying to keep them in this, environment that they've built that's supposed to simulate what it would be like to be in a camp on Mars, right?
I don't know. It sounds like if you want to apply, the actual application process is linked on our website. If you want to go over and isolate yourself for NASA, I'm sure their requirements are that you can keep your mouth closed. Gone Girl 777 stopping in with much love, says, hi, much love all. I'm riding around the Grand Tetons with my group, so I can't stay, but wanted to say I love you all. We'll hit the replay later. Much love, Foogle fam. Gone Girl, I appreciate that, and I hope you're riding safe, and I'm really glad you're getting out on all those trips. I could not see a better thing to do during summer than to ride my bike, just out and about. Diane Moses, thank you so much, and I appreciate your support. You can always write a message there if you want to say hi. And then Lisa Marie S. again, thank you. Everyone has kept emailing me about your call-in. What a great show that was. Spirit Airlines meltdown will go into next week with 50% of flights to be canceled Friday, as CEO blames staffing chaos. So it seems to me that a lot of this is supposedly staffing, or people won't work or whatever, but basically this is affecting our economy, our infrastructure. People they have to cancel flights because they can't get enough staff.
Well, they're also, what's hidden in here, they basically said staffing issues, severe weather, and system outages. So, by the way, system outages. So this gets me thinking maybe something else was going on with Spirit. Maybe they got hit and we just don't know yet, and they don't want to admit it. Maybe they're having some issues with their systems from a cyber attack or something else that's causing this. This has been going on for days now, and they're talking about it going into next week. I mean, it's a big deal. It's one thing for, we've seen other airlines go down for a day, cancel all the flights for a day because they had a system issue or something. But the rate that this is happening with Spirit, this is really going to hurt them, and it's really a big event, to be honest.
And we know for a fact that, of course, a lot of these companies, we've already gotten confirmation from actual government agencies that monitor this. They have said that a lot of these companies are not saying that they're being hacked. The ransomware attacks, what's crazy is they're admitting a lot of these guys get paid. They get paid the $2 million ransom or the $5 million or $50 million ransom. Usually what they'll do is if they don't want it public, they'll quietly get the money together, get the key, and then change all their systems, and nobody even knows. We've known that this has come out later on that they said, well, this is what actually caused the 3-day down was because of a ransomware. All of these ransomware attacks, all of these cyber attacks, something is going on, and I almost think it's all like on our side, like CIA. There's something huge going on right now. But as far as this goes, Spirit Airlines says that there's staffing issue. Then they said there was operational issues. Now they're saying it's going to go into next week. Did they get hacked? I wonder if you work for Spirit and you want to let us know what you think it is. let us know. Adam at marfooglenews.com or Dex at marfooglenews.com. It says the meltdown at Spirit Airlines will continue into next week. The travel giant CEO admitted Thursday as a sixth day of chaos will see more than 50% of its scheduled flights canceled on Friday. 50%, that does not sound like a staffing issue. That sounds like something is actually wrong. It says Eric Hoffmeyer, a spokesperson for the airline, attributed a high number of delays and cancellations to staffing shortages, severe weather, and system outages that began Sunday. Just slide that in there, like Dex said. Oh, system outages. Okay.
And again, that began Sunday. Today is Friday, and this is supposed to go on till next week.
Wow. And it's all just normal staffing issues. Dave didn't come into work today. Two old people on a couch. Thank you for being now old school Foogles, and thank you for your massive support. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys are creating and doing awesome things over on your channels. And then thank you so much, Andre Christ, again for subscribing. Dave Bobbles, that's hilarious. As I talk about Dave subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. And then, all right, to one of our main stories here. Now, this is something I've been talking about for a long time. And what's really crazy, Dex, is we talked about this yesterday, unrelated, and talked about New Zealand. Now it's like every single time we're right before it happens, all of a sudden there's a high. This is what makes me think it's a simulation. It's like we talk about this, enough of us talk about it. Of course, people after they watch the show, they're probably talking about it, and then all of a sudden this happens.
Exactly. Yeah, I think yesterday we were talking about the fact that many of the America's wealthiest people were denouncing their citizenship and moving away. And we also said, you had asked, and I said, yeah, in the circles, their circles, the place to go is NZ. And then boom, here it is today. We have the article about one of the richest people is now in NZ.
And not only that, he has residency. It's not like he's visiting. It says billionaire co-founder Larry Page is a New Zealand resident. The government has confirmed his stuff. On Thursday evening, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment confirmed the world's sixth richest man has a Kiwi residency. The development comes the same day Stuff broke the news that Page visited New Zealand earlier this year amid the CV border restrictions after his child fell ill in Fiji. So, and then it says that Stuff's investigation of this matter this week included an inquiry from MBIE on Tuesday about Page's immigration status. MBIE's response was Mr. Page is not a permanent resident. But now MBIE says Page is a resident. Sorry. So they're saying that he is a resident. Now, why does this matter? A lot of people are like, okay, I'm lost. Why does it matter that he's a New Zealand resident? For decades now, people have said that New Zealand would be the place you would go if the world was going to just all out be a mess. If there was a nuclear, conflict, if there was an asteroid that hit the world. Historically, even experts have said that New Zealand or Greenland or a mix of the two would be the two safest places on Earth. I believe there was a place in China as well that was, I want to say the Himalayas, I could be wrong, that would be the safest place from certain events. Now, New Zealand, for whatever reason, they have shut down regular people coming over and buying houses because they say that their people that live there can't even buy houses. So for him to go over and get residency, that's crazy. But what's even crazier is they shut down letting the public know about all of the people that are going over there because it's only a certain bracket of money. We just read the article last night, and this is before this came out, and we talked about this yesterday. This is news as of today. This came out after our show last night. We were just talking about this, about how that all of these people are giving up their U.S. citizenship, which is not that is a big deal. These aren't people like saying, "Oh, if this person's president, I'm leaving the country." These are the richest people in the world, all leaving. And of course, they even have it broken down, and it's these people that have over $2 billion. Was it $2 billion, Dex, or 2 million? I want to say
it was over 2 million, but it was definitely, as you got higher up, it was even more, it was more, a lot more of the higher dollar folks way above that were leaving.
I want to say,
and by the way, I just
2.
gave you, and I just gave you another article, if you want to pull it up, that's related to this, that came out. I found it was from a week ago, and it talks about how NZ would be the best country to face the apocalypse in. It's based on a study.
Oh, weird. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why it's easy to see why people talk about it and go, okay, this is weird. You can see why it has been a rumor for all these years, because it's true. New Zealand, just because of its geolocation and everything else, that's why these rich and elite are going there. Some think that there is something even worse coming. Again, why are all of a sudden are we trying to get to space? Why are all of these weird things happening right now? Why are they doing Noah's Arks and sending them off to planets and into the deep mountains? It says New Zealand would be the best country to face the apocalypse, a study says. It says, in a study published this month in the Journal of Sustainability, a pair of researchers have found evidence that a variety of factors make New Zealand the best country to be in when doomsday arrives. Human civilization has undergone a continuous trajectory of rising social complexity since its inception, and it begins the study before noting that global collapse is increasingly likely due to such of an Earth system problems as climate change when, say, a nuclear holocaust does arrive. The day of reckoning may be more gently felt in certain countries that have favorable starting conditions. Of the author's short list of nations with the greatest potential for relatively more pleasant apocalypse experience, New Zealand topped the list, which also included Iceland, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Ireland. We weren't surprised NZ was on our list, said Alid Jones, like how it's Alid, a study author and professor of the UK's Anglia Ruskin University. The NZ Herald reported, quote, "We chose that you had to be able to protect borders and places had to be temperate. So with hindsight, it's quite obvious that large islands with complex societies on them already make up the list." So again, they're saying pretty much every place on that list is an island, as far as they already have the infrastructure, they have everything set up. And then of course, it's out in the ocean, it's got distance away from the mainland that would be destroyed or screwed up. And I believe because of the place they are and the way that the weather would work after a nuke surrounds the whole planet with darkness, it's got this weird kind of setup. So what do you think about this? Do you think, of course, all these billionaires are going there for a reason? Do you think that they know something up? When we talk about a mass exodus, there is an actual piece of proof. There's actual study data that can show you and prove to you that all of these crazy CEOs are leaving their posts. These are billionaires, and they're all leaving in the last 2 years. It's almost like they were told, like, hey, we've got 4 years left. You might want to go spend some time with your family. Hey, we've got 5 years left. Maybe go have some fun. Go shoot some skeet. Whatever rich people do, Now, I'm sure they do other skeet stuff too. But again, what do you think? Put it in the comments down below. Do you think that this is why everybody is going? I want to know why the hell all of these rich CEOs that have, some of them in their 20s, they have literally basically free money being handed to them, and they turn it down and leave. Why? It doesn't make any sense. And they're retiring when they're being...
How about this? If you had, and I'm not necessarily talking to you, Adam, but to anybody in the Fugel fam, if you had the money, the cash, the capital, unlimited resources, would you leave America for another country, or would you stay here? Like, what do you think?
Wow, that's kind of a hard one. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would leave my state for sure. I hate my state. Washington is just a horrible state for anybody, I think. But besides the beautiful part of it, but I don't know. That's a hard question. That's actually a good question for the audience. If you had the money to, if you're in a United States citizen, if you had the money to move to any country, would you move? And what country would that be? That's actually a really good question. I don't know. I'm proud to be an American. A lot of people aren't now. If you look at these youngins, they're just like, oh, it's hard to say I'm proud of the U.S. They don't know nothing. They're uneducated. They don't realize what they have. They don't realize how special it is that we were born here. Or if you're born in Europe. If you were born in Europe or in Australia or anywhere else, again, it's hard to say that in Australia right now because they are literally holding people in their house with, military. It's pretty hard to say that. But again, compared to other countries, I'm very proud that I was born here and I was very lucky and blessed. So I don't know if I would leave, but I'd definitely have a vacation home if I had billions. But this guy's leaving for good. That's pretty crazy. And then mysterious new electronic warfare system spotted on U.S. Navy aircraft carriers. An intriguing upgrade has been installed on the USS Carl Vinson and the USS Abraham Lincoln that points to new defensive capabilities. So this is what this thing is. And yeah, it looks like one of those kids' poppets or something. It says, in this day and age, the warship's electronic warfare suite can even be more important than its kinetic capabilities as far as missiles and guns. But when it comes to protecting it from enemy attacks, with America's foes working harder than ever to create weapons that can put U.S. Navy's most prized vessels, its super carriers, at risk. Electronic warfare soft kill defenses are being rapidly enhanced. We have seen multiple new systems which remain highly ambiguous in the terms of their capabilities appear on American destroyers on the two West Coast-based supercarriers, the USS Carl Vinson and the USS Abraham Lincoln, which have both recently headed out into the Pacific. So these were upgraded with these new systems. So if you can see this picture right here, this is some sort of electronic warfare weapon. And of course, they put it on there, and now both of these are deployed.
And it's also in multiple locations around this ship. So it seems like it's some sort of defensive or maybe offensive device. But there's more than one picture in this article, and it shows these different locations. We don't know what it is, but it's definitely interesting.
It's on the back, it's on the sides, it's all over. But here's the thing: when they have a physical item here, we don't know what it does. But we can see it on the ships. I mean, they can't hide they can't put a blanket over it if it's going to be used. Here, you can actually see in this picture, they point out several of them. What do you think it is? Do you know what it is? Put it in chat if you do. This is an incredible ship, by the way. And they're constantly changing the weapons on these.
Yeah, and it looks like they're designed to rotate, turn, maybe even move up and down, but they certainly look like they can swivel, right?
Oh yeah, they look like they're pointed. It doesn't look like a laser, so I just wonder what it is. I think it is. I think it's a sensor of some sort that it's part of a targeting system that works hand in hand with something else. That's my thought. What is yours? It kind of looks like almost a reverse of the systems that burn your skin. What were those called? Do you remember, Dex? The
active denial.
ADS, active denial systems, which basically use the same kind of stuff that they're putting to our cell phones right now. And then Selma Haywood, thank you for subscribing. Barefoot Lass says, not always in chat lately, but always listening. Much love to you, Dex, Mods, and the Foogle fam. Well, thank you so much, Barefoot Lass. I appreciate you, and I understand not everybody can be here every night. I totally get you. All right, let me pop over. Thank you, D-Live. Over on D-Live, we have awesome people. Carolina Roots, Vault 111, Scooby Doo Do Right, Angela 1809. Thank you, Penny Lane, Lady Mel. Thank you, everybody that just dropped lemons in there. Dixie Doe. Let's see here. Sterile. I don't even want to say that. Oh my gosh. Sometimes you guys get me. Laura Griffith, Jurley, and Cindy, thank you so much for popping in. Gem, I did want to announce. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna check on that. I'm gonna say something probably next show tomorrow about that. All right, and then, of course, we have U.S. expresses deep concern over China's alleged nuclear arsenal buildup. Dex, what do you think about this? It's Beijing talking and rejecting the offers.
Right. And, of course, this is a big deal, right? The more they're building up their nuclear arsenal, they've built up their Navy, they've built up their military, they've built up their manufacturing. They've, adopted all of their transportation vehicles, specifically the amphibious ones or the ones that are on water, like ferries. They are building up the biggest, largest, most dominating power, military power, including nuclear, and they're continuing to add it at a rapid pace. We've seen. Do you remember the scientists that all resigned? Like, Lord only knows what was going on that caused like 90 of them to all leave their position. But yeah, this is a big concern. We reported not too long ago about all the silos they were putting out in a big open area, and just continuing to expand their investment in nuclear. And this is a big concern for us, certainly.
And that was 90 of the 200 scientists were basically taking a target on their back to quit. They all resigned on the same day. They were all research and development for China's nuclear program. To me, I think that they said we would rather die or be killed in our sleep than participate in what you guys are about to do. This is also the view of Australian outlets, and I'm not even talking about some of the more known, One Direction outlets like Sky. I'm talking about all of the Australian news, and I want to say there was a European outlet as well that looked at it the same way. Nobody talked about it in the U.S. Last year, 90 out of 184 or 200, it was one of those, half of their nuclear scientists in charge of research and development, a very specialized position that, you're working for the Chinese government in that position. If you leave them high and dry, you're going to be targeted. And we're talking about they didn't do it by themselves. They talked about it with 90 of them and said, we're out of here. It's not about pay. They didn't go on strike for pay. I'm sure they were paid good. I'm sure their families were treated good because they're, part of that elite structure of the scientists. And that's how China's military and then the scientists that kind of force that. Their industrial complex, those guys do really well. They're not rich, but they're taken care of, right? They left all of that. Why? How did 90 of them get together and say, I'm not doing this? That must have been something like they had such strong morals over it that they said, I'd rather die or not have a job or not ever get a job again or be blacklisted than do this. Think about it. This isn't the United States where they just leave a job and go down to McDonald's or go to somewhere else, right? This is the Chinese government. They're being tracked every step of the way, and 90 of them left. They're going to be pissed off at those 90 scientists. Because guess what? You can't just replace a scientist. You can't just put an application out and get a rocket scientist. So something is happening right now. And again, if people can't see that Beijing is going to have the biggest military, and I'm talking about Navy, Air Force, space, all of this, they're working to have the largest of everything. It might get to a point, who knows? Maybe they're trying to get to a point where they don't have to go to war, and they are just so big that nobody touches them. Where they have every single category, 10 times as much as everybody else. People say that they're broke or this or that. They have tons of money. They're getting money from the entire planet. They are trading with the entire planet and manufacturing and sending stuff out. All of that money, they can put all of it into military if they feel like that will get their goal done. They have the largest Navy. They are going to have the largest Air Force, and some think they already do. Some think that they have been secretly building jets, and to our specifications, these are jets just like ours, stolen information that they hacked from us. I mean, think about it. You had 2 planes the same, but these 2 planes are flying, and then you have 40 planes. Doesn't matter what kind of technology you have. If you're 2 on 40, you're screwed. Their whole strategy is in numbers. If you've got the best UFC fighter in the world, if you had Mike Tyson that had a baby with, what is his name, O'Connor or whatever, you have the most badass UFC fighter have a baby with Mike Tyson and the best boxer and Holyfield and everybody. They had a freak clone baby. That baby could fight anybody in the world. That person could fight anybody. But it wouldn't be able to fight 10 guys at the same time. That's their strategy. They are making nuclear silos all over the place. So people need to share this information. People need to get it out on social medias. They need to realize that, we're letting this happen. There's even half of our government is not even caring.
Well, and so that's interesting. There's another side to this, right? So when you look at this narrative is coming from our U.S. Secretary of State, right, Anthony Blinken, and this is his push towards the China narrative. And what's been interesting is we've seen this narrative shift significantly in the last month to 2 months. Remember, it wasn't that long ago. The first time we heard, China and cyber warfare, right? That had come out. They started blaming them, and then they started picking up. All of the military professionals were coming out saying that's the biggest threat. It's China, et cetera, et cetera. So now it almost seems like they're laying the groundwork, and that's what we said a month ago. And this is just more of that groundwork to support this narrative. That is, there will be the conflict. And Adam, you've talked about it, and you've talked with people in DoD that have told you, it's going to happen. So, whether or not it's right, whether or not it's staged, whether or not it's legitimate, it is. If it happens, it happens, and it's going to be a big deal, no matter which way around it. Not even if it's in concert, with people high up in our government and are participating in it in a way that we may think is nefarious. It's still a bad thing when it happens, right?
Exactly. People say, "Oh, it's all a show," or they're working together, or this or that. Doesn't matter. Xi, Putin, and Mr. B can all be on an island having Mai Tais while it all goes down. And they probably will be. Doesn't matter what will change for us is there will be a purpose for it. After everything's cleared out, people say, oh, well, China has all this money invested in the U.S., so they wouldn't blow it up or wouldn't destroy it. Are you kidding? Look at every world conflict there's been. There's been countries that worked fine together and then all of a sudden destroyed each other. But guess what? If you win a whole lot more than you lose by destroying your own stuff. I mean, I think it's crazy to think just because, or the narrative that they built the 5th generation system, because they just spent all this money getting the 5th generation of communications up, this whole thing, why would we have a blackout and or an EMP? Do you think that that's going to stop them from doing whatever they want to do? If there's a greater plan at play, then it doesn't matter if they just spent money. We're talking about these people have greater money. The private people that are in charge have so much money. Think about this. Jeff Bezos has, say, just $100 billion. He has 150 or whatever it is. But just $3 billion is an entire, moon NASA contract. So in their personal wealth, they could throw away the money that could get somebody, a 10-year thing to the moon. We're talking about a 10-year contract to the moon is $3 billion. And they have that, and that's, 3% of their wealth. Not even. They make that in interest a year by next year he's going to have like they said that he's going to have like $500 billion in a couple of years because of the interest. It's like, it's exponential. When you have that much money, you just keep making money. He could put half of that at 0.3% or 3% or 2%. Think about that. They make money just by being rich. So I just don't, it doesn't matter. Like, they have so much money. This is nothing. I wonder what the entire fifth generation system actually costs. Like, what if it's $1 trillion? These guys are almost up there. 10 of these guys have that covered just in 10 guys in their wallets. This stuff is getting serious. And people aren't listening, and they're not going to listen until it's too late. China has stolen enough data to compile a dossier on every American. It's like, this is exactly what we said. They have all of our information. You don't need the smartest or the best technology. You just need somebody to hack it from the people that have the best technology. Don Schultz, thank you so much for your support. Marky Sparky, those attached on the ship are called LRAD. I don't think those are LRAD because LRAD's been around for a while. Marky Sparky. But again, might be a different kind of LRAD. Tarun Mendarada, thank you so much. We've got the Bearded Star from Canada, says much peace and grace and forbearance to all the Foogle family. Keep up the good fight and keep standing. Thanks, Marf and Dex and those behind the scenes. And then Leon Calveras Lovedoll, thank you for subscribing. Bob Jones and Stephen McMahon. Look up Peter Zehan on the internet. Maybe Robert Kaplan, geographer. I will. Thank you for the suggestion. It says that top national security officials for former President DT are sounding the alarm about China's illicit pursuit of data through cyber theft and other means, with one warning that the sensitive information is enough for them to put together a dossier on every American adult. That's right. So you watching this, China has enough information on you to put together a dossier on you. Even if you're not important, you don't do anything, and you don't stand out. It says Matthew Pottinger, a former T-Man deputy national security advisor, warned during a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing on Wednesday that China was looking to use the data it had stolen from the United States and worldwide to influence and coerce everyone from political leaders to private citizens. It says assembling dossiers on people has always been a feature of Leninist regimes, but Beijing's penetration of digital networks nation and worldwide, including using the fifth generation networks, has really taken this to a new level, Pottinger said. So the party now compiles dossier on millions of foreign citizens around the world using the material that it gathers to influence, target, intimidate, reward, blackmail, flatter, humiliate, and ultimately divide and conquer. Dex, this is exactly like, it's so crazy though, because you know how there's some people that say they are, TIs or targeted individuals? I believe it. I believe there are some people that they feel are important to kind of, take out of the equation, make them feel crazy or make them do this. I bet China does this though.
I absolutely. I mean, they've got the resources. I mean, that's the thing. When you have a 1 million person army in digital, right? That's a significant presence.
Can you remind people? Can you remind people that weren't there for that show?
Yeah, so
about
we
that?
talked about this. Yeah, they have over 1 million people. Basically, you can think of it as 1 million people on payroll whose job is to go out and influence social media. Whether it's pick up a narrative, support a new narrative, or even jump into a divisional narrative and help create more division, right? So, and go after and support any of the, Ganda that they're trying to produce, right? That's all part of the system. That's just on the offensive side. But now on the collection side, we know they've stolen data. We know that they've had applications out there that are run by all sorts of companies, that are owned by companies that are owned by the government of China, right? Or controlled by the government of China that are collecting data and collect data. from end users like you and me or anyone else. Any of you that are listening have probably touched an application, used something, or have been exposed to the possibility of your information being captured and stolen by
TikTok,
China.
Yeah. We're talking. There's apps that you probably don't even know. You probably downloaded a ruler app that asked you for access to your pictures, and you don't realize it. You're like, oh well, because it needs to look at. Oh well, why? Wait, this doesn't even have a picture feature. Oh, why does it ask for that? Because they're getting into your phone and they're taking everything. People don't realize how much power it is to access your photos, where you go. There's computers now that could look at every single photo in your phone, and then it would automatically compile it with AI, and it would be able to actually predict your patterns just from the photos off of your phone. Whether they just be regular family photos, they start grabbing every background of every place you've ever taken a photo. They can start mapping out by date and by time. You were here, you were here. They can put together a whole system of where you've been. Between that and
every one of those
Google,
photos has the GPS location of the time you took it.
Yep, it's just it's mind-boggling. We are being watched not only by our own country, but by every country in the world. This is why we talk about VPNs. This is why we've talked about it for a long time. You need to hide your IP address. You need to do everything you possibly can. That's why we talked about eDeck bags. Put your phone in an eDeck bag every time you travel if you can. Like, there's so many weird things, and you don't think that will matter. Just wait. It's going to become something where if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. I always hear people go, well, I don't care if they're watching me because I'm not doing anything wrong. It's going to get to the point where they're going to go back retrospectively and say you did do something wrong just by doing what you think isn't wrong. This is so insane. We are being taken over, and we don't even know it. Apps like TikTok and all of these things that are in the phones, they're doing it digitally. We are literally being divided and conquered. Why do you think they've separated us into two factions? You cannot work coercively. You cannot fight a greater evil if you are all separated. You can't have two people standing there. Think about how divided people got with T-Man or not T-Man. It was, oh, you support him? Then I'm not your friend. How many people in this room right now have lost friends because of political beliefs just in the last 8 years? 6 years, 5 years. That's incredible. That's what the media and everything else has done to us. It used to be where you didn't, okay, that annoys me that you believe that, okay, but let's move on. Let's go see a movie, whatever. Now it's like, I don't deal with your type. But it's the same way if you're right-leaning and you say, oh, I can't deal with Democrats. We need to look past that and try to have a conversation and try to meet somewhere in the middle. I get it. I even told my uncle, I said, but I just don't get it. There are some people that I'm just like, how can they believe all of this? But understand it's not their fault. They don't see this stuff. They are believing what media puts out. People still watch CNN, even though we've known for a long time. Even CNN staffers know that they're just complete, it's all BS. It's all smoke and mirrors. And people still don't get it. China is a big part of all of this. Why do you think all these celebrities are apologizing to China? Why do you think news agencies are saying we're sorry we did this? Why do you think that the New York Times, the Washington Post, all these different news agencies just deleted thousands of stories? They were being paid, like one was a very specific one that stuck out that got deleted off the internet, but people saved, was a story saying China is the owner of the Diaoyu Islands. That was a propaganda piece that they paid for and had put into major papers. Because they wanted the people to think, oh yeah, Diaoyu's their islands. It was them getting them mentally prepared for them to take that island or to have that island. This is why and now they're deleting evidence of it. It's insane. This goes so deep, it's not even funny.
Well, and let's not forget, all of the tech giants, every one of them is in bed with China. And they did it from a business perspective, right? Once they had, dominated the American market, well, they needed to grow. And how do you grow? Well, what's the next biggest emerging market? Oh, well, there's billions of people in China that can use our tech. So what do we do to go over there? Well, as soon as they get over there, the government says, you're not coming in unless you play with us, and you're going to have to play the game we want you to play. And Lord only knows how much data they have been given or given access to, or, we don't know. We have no idea, but it would not surprise me if there are not, the same way that our government here has got access to data from big tech, that China may not have that same access to the big tech.
I don't know, but obviously the biggest company that owns this guy's up here, they designed their own version for China. Look at what was it called, Dragonfly, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like, this is crazy stuff. California shuts down major hydroelectric plant amid record low water levels at Lake Oroville. Weren't we talking about a year and a half ago? Wasn't Lake Oroville about to overflow or something? Wasn't this?
Oh yeah, this is the one that had, a few years ago had the spillway issue, and they were afraid the earthen dam was going to rupture, and there was a lot of questions of how that actually happened. And then recently they were talking about it overflowing again. And now here we are talking about it at its lowest level, and it's so low, they're now turning off the plant.
Yeah, this was the very one, and it says California shut down a major hydroelectric power plant, Lake Oroville, as water levels at the reservoir fell near the minimum necessary to generate power, state water officials said on Thursday. It says it's the first time the state has shut down the Hyatt power plant due to depleted water levels since the plant went into operation in 1967. That's over 50 years ago, almost 60 years ago. That is insane. So whatever the narrative is, it's like that actual plant got shut down. Whether it's manufactured, manipulated, whatever, that's not good. Homesteading in the Heartland says, my husband and I have loved you for 3 years and will continue to love you till the ship sinks. Much love and God bless. Homesteading in the Heartland, I truly believe it will someday. So I am so glad that you are along with me on the boat. Thank you, everybody. We mean that. All right, and then speaking of, again, with all the hacking stuff, I don't get why people don't have VPNs. Everybody, when they're doing their personal stuff, should be on it. If you haven't already, make sure to go over. Today's show is brought to you by NordVPN. Again, go over and check it out. Special savings code Marfoogle will help you save. Every time you end up signing up, it ends up giving us a small commission. Therefore, we can run our show. So thank you, those that do. And on top of this, you get a giant discount. Again, that's how affiliate works. If you pick somebody else that affiliates Nord, it will support them. I highly recommend that if you don't support us, support somebody in the YouTube community that you like. This is how the ecosystem works. People complain about this, but this is how the ecosystem works. Unfortunately, we don't have big companies paying us. We have to make sure that we do our own stuff. Unless you have a multi-channel network, then they kind of do some of the legwork. We don't even have that. We are literally on our own. We're the Tom McDonald of news, if you follow his struggle, or we're the Dax of news. We're the Chris Webby of news. So we are on our own. This is the kind of stuff that helps support us. So thank you, everybody that has already gone and done so. Again, thank you, everybody that has supported us throughout the 3 years, 3.5, almost 4 years that we've been on now. Let's see here. And then 3 erupting Alaska volcanoes spitting lava or ash clouds. Out of Anchorage, Alaska, 3 remote Alaska volcanoes are in various states of eruption, one producing lava and the other 2 blowing steam and ash. So far, none of the small communities near the volcanoes have been affected. Chris Thomas, a geologist with the volcano, said, it says webcams on Thursday clearly showed episodic or episodic low-level ash emissions from the Pavlov volcano, promoting the observatory to raise the volcano's threat level from yellow, or exhibiting signs of unrest, to orange, indicating an eruption is underway with minor volcanic ash emissions. So here's where this comes into play. Up in Alaska, up on the other side where, this whole line, the Ring of Fire, this could highly push or sway in any direction and end up triggering the Cascadia subduction zone. This is a high West Coast alert here with this volcanic activity. Dex, as far as these kind of came out of nowhere, didn't they?
Well, yeah, certainly. And then what's interesting, and we'll get to it in just a minute, is that there's new studies found about how certain volcanoes in certain locations, if they're erupting, can actually cause the type of destruction you're talking about, not only in Cascadia, but in other places.
And this is exactly why when Chris Goldfinger, I asked him, I said, hey, could Yellowstone be triggered by Cascadia subduction zone or vice versa? Could, one trigger the other? He said even 20 years ago, this was as of last year, so 21 years ago, they would have said you are crazy. Any scientist, it was just a conspiracy theory. If you said one earthquake could trigger a volcano, or one earthquake could trigger a volcano, or a earthquake trigger a volcano, any of that, right? They didn't know then. Now they said it is not an argument. It is not debated. It is an absolute fact that a large earthquake or even a large or a quake can trigger a volcano and vice versa. It's common sense to me. I think, of course it can. Because if you think about it, it's if you're dealing with tectonic plates and you're dealing with the magma underneath, and they're both plates, boom, psh, this thing goes off, it's going to move things around, and then it could shake or snap any of the plates. So this is a big sign to watch out, and I highly recommend anybody on the West Coast or even anywhere on the Ring of Fire right now should have an extra kind of kit of supplies. Have a go bag. Have it right next to the door if you can. How we hide our stuff inside of our door is a seat. Is a openable kind of seat. It's like a chest, right? You sit on it and take your shoes off when you walk in the door. Inside those, you can put the go bags. Then your neighbors or your friends that come over don't think you're nuts. They won't go, why do you have... I've been here, over 10 years and you always have bags by the door. That's weird. Hide them in a chest. But I would highly, highly recommend that that everybody on the West Coast, especially anybody that's along fault lines, to have a go bag, have stuff ready. It says volcanic eruptions at Vesuvius and Santorini could trigger tsunamis that cripple world trade, experts fear. It says volcanic eruptions in Italy, Greece, could trigger tsunamis that cripple world trade. Experts fear minor blasts at Vesuvius and Santorini could be just as, if not more dangerous than colossal explosions, cascading to a global catastrophe. Mammoth waves could smash submerged cable networks and even seal off the Suez Canal, according to a new study. It says ash clouds and landslides could also lead to financial market shutdowns and major food shortages, leaving the planet in political turmoil. Experts at Cambridge University warn relatively small but active volcanoes could paralyze vital infrastructure and spark a domino effect around the world. They have identified 7 pinch points where clusters of these volcanoes sit alongside infrastructure critical for the functioning society and economy. It says these regions include northwestern United States, Taiwan, North Africa, and the North Atlantic. The volcanic group on the northern tip of Taiwan could cause the global tech industry to grind to a halt. So, again, it says it is home of one of the largest producers of electronic chips, as well as the port of Taipei. So this is a really good one. In fact, down a little bit lower, scenario modeling for a magnitude 6 eruption from Mount Rainier predicts potential economic losses of more than $7 trillion over 5 years. If you don't know what Mount Rainier is, let me show you a skyline. This actually kind of says it all, right? Seattle skyline. Anybody here knows exactly what, why I'm showing this, but so let's. Oh, here's a really good one. It looks in pictures, it looks a lot closer than it. But I mean, it is right there. Some of our major, almost all down the West Coast, you have almost all of the major cities have volcanoes lined all around them. In fact, in the chat, name some of the volcanoes all along the West Coast. We have several, and most of them are Mount Hood, Mount this, Mount that. We, of course, had Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens was famous in 1980 or 81. It went off, and it just absolutely went kaboom. It was crazy. The entire state was covered in black ash. You couldn't see the sun for days. I wasn't even born yet. My sister remembers being a little girl, and it was just absolute insanity. But again, this is Mount Rainier. So they're saying that could cause just absolute chaos and devastation. And they're saying that a lot of this, is a huge possibility now. Modoc Rough Stock, thank you. Matching Cynthia, we can all agree that this Matrix has ramped up like we will not even imagine. Peace and love from the Northern California ranches. Mark Sketch says, just wanted to say hi and thanks for everything, Marf, Dex, and crew. Cynthia Pillow, love your show. Thank you, Adam, Dex, and Mods. I feel a big storm coming. And then just wanted to pop over. Thank you so much. Sovereign Leo says, we need to come together in love and respect for each other instead of division. We're not in the club. I love it. Hughism says, truth, American providers sale customer info. That's right. One Way says, prepare now, brothers and sisters. Now. That's absolutely right. Laura Griffith, DFW Jackie, thank you guys. Moss Dog 7 G7, thank you. Divine 1122, Doggy 30, thank you for following. Welcome to the Foogle fam. Everybody, make sure to, if you see a new name, join over on DLive or on YouTube. Make sure to say hi. American Girl, thank you for following. Doggy 30, welcome Doggy 30 to the fam. And then let's see here. There was a couple people that did badges, so thank you so much. Thanks, Jammer and Chance, for modding. Thank you, April O. Again, thank you for modding when you can. And then we're about to add a new mod, I think. I'm pretty sure over on DLive. So I'm really hoping so. If not, no worries. All right. And then, Dex, do you want to tell us about some of the stuff that's going on here?
Wow, I'm so glad that comment earlier where somebody said they really enjoyed and took a look at what was happening in the web-only content today, because it is really powerful. If you head over to marfooglenews.com and you click on the thumbnail for this show and scroll down past the news that we just talked about, you will find web-only content. And this is the stuff, as Adam said earlier, it's sort of too hot for TV. A lot of it is one-sided or the other, and they're looking for truth. But one of the things that's in here is the very first article, and it's a video you should go watch. It's with, I'm just going to call him Dr. Brian. I don't want to put the full name out there because I don't know if it's going to get flagged. He put together a really good bit of information that I think everyone ought to know about, and or at least listen to and see if it makes sense to you. It was really well put together. Look, there's a lot of other stuff, like how about one of the major pharmaceuticals announcing on their day of how much money they just made in quarterly profit, and then said, yep, we're going to ask for more. And they're asking for more, not money, but more of what they're producing. Lots of things going on in here from the bean counters. Definitely worth taking a look at. Head over to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail, scroll down to web-only content.
Again, posting that kind of thing, that is pretty huge. And we're talking about literal billions of dollars from those things, right? So anytime money's involved, I always wonder, you know what I'm saying? All right, Dex, thank you for your service today, and I appreciate everything you do. And again, I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Much love, brother. Great show.
All right, thank you, Blancuso. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the fam. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. And if you're watching the replay, I really appreciate you. About 50,000 people watch this show daily, and that's mostly replay watchers. So I really appreciate you. And if you did watch all the way to the end like this, you're Foogle fam. I mean, either way, I know that not everybody has the time to watch the whole show, but if you do and you're one of those, there's a special part in my heart for you, and I really do thank you guys. I think that you're some of the most educated people out there, especially on everything that's going on, because if you follow this daily, we cover pretty much everything. So thank you so much for being here for me and for Dex over 3 years. The mods have been amazing. Again, make sure to thank those mods down in the chat below. All right, love you guys. It is now officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that matter most, you, with my silly songs of satisfaction made on the spot. Pinch Runner, Deep State of Mind, Lady Mel, Patty Morton, Silly Gurgle, Billie Jean, Poco Local, Raging Rhino. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. Dum 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 dum. Randy Savage, oh so correct. Yo coin and everybody's broken day. Just Arizona and Lisa Hall, Bob Dobbs and everybody gonna stall. Nagger drunk pilot taking it all down with them and he like Parker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. CC Wilson and no one, Lucian, I think I'm on. These sheets and everyone, I get that Rob side, I gonna bring it by. A D, a minor bar, a Reishi Lyman for a joy, or thank you, Gone Girl 777. You are our #1 supporter over on YouTube. Young Girl 777, ha ha ha. Gone Girl 777, ha ha. Gone Girl 777, ha ha. Gone Girl 777, ha ha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. Dum dum, Gone Girl 777, ha ha. Gone Girl 777, ha ha. 6, 1, 8, 9, everybody gonna be fine. Rogue Dog, it's me, Jeremy James, MSC. Ha. Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody gonna be by my side. 6, 7, 8, 9, everybody gonna be real fine. Gone Girl 777, ha ha. Gone Girl 777, ha ha. I'm gonna run. I see, I go, I love you now. Hoo, ha, I said, hoo, ha, ha, said, hoo, ha, ha, said, hoo. special thank you to Zippy Moons, our #1 supporter on D-Live, Jammer1 for being #2, and Sovereign for being #3. Thinking 54, respiratory Jamie, Cynthia Lynn, everybody name me. Ghost Radio 611, everybody gon' have one fun. Life to give and real czar. A Casper Sparks. I got stoplights and windows of diamond by. I bring in Priscilla R and a lady Mel, Bugnana and a Gravely, Dixie Doe and Susan Big, Wanna Be and DFD. I'm about to go with you, dear.